The NFC Championship game, it's a comfortable place for the Packers. They like to visit it a lot, but more often than not recently, it is the end of the road for them, like this year losing to the Bucs. This past season marked the Packers' 9th appearance in the NFC title game, the 4th in 7 years, but they have lost 3 straight, and all of them on the road. Let's welcome back in Bryant McFadden, Danny Kanell. We're going to talk about the Packers this offseason. So the Packers were the co-favorites to win the NFC up until very recently, along with the Bucs. They are now slightly behind them at plus 500 compared to the Bucs at plus 450. B-Mac, I'll start with you here. Is this the right spot for them as the favorite behind the Bucs?
No question. When you look at all the good teams in the NFC, I think the Green Bay Packers would be considered to be the second best team behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, solely because of Aaron Rodgers, who just won the MVP. Another outstanding year from Aaron Rodgers. I don't see him slowing down anytime soon, and I don't expect to see the same draft questions that we saw last year when it came to addressing and adding talent around Aaron Rodgers. I don't expect for them to draft another quarterback in the first round. They may add a pass catcher, they may add a running back, but they're going to add something to that offense to make that offense even more prolific. So I think they're the second best team. They have to make some decisions on the defensive side, but when you have number 12, who was the best quarterback in the National Football League last year, returning, and we don't expect to see him slowing down anytime soon, I think this is the best spot for them to be in.
I think they're the best team in the NFC. I think the Packers are. I mean, they were the best seed this past season, and I know the Bucs went in there and they beat them, but man, it just happened. It was a perfect storm. Brady and the Bucs kind of caught fire when they had to, and it was all she wrote. I think the Packers are going to be better this year. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing even better than Tom Brady is. As good as Tom Brady had this season, we saw Aaron Rodgers win the MVP, and he's just so comfortable in this system. And he looks comfortable in his own skin, and he's comfortable off the field. He always has been, but I think he's playing pretty freely right now. And finally, you're getting a system that's utilizing his skills really to the fullest and letting him flourish in today's NFL. So I think you'll see more of the same this season. And it's it's hard to repeat. So I know Tom Brady and the Bucs will be a trendy pick, and I know he repeated before in 2003 and 2004 with the Bucs. But it's hard to keep that team motivated. The Bucs are going to have a lot of losses in free agency. They can't afford to keep everybody. And if there was a team that could kind of make a few moves in free agency to put them over the edge, to make them a Super Bowl, a team that's almost a lock that looks like, okay, this is the favorite, even more so than the Chiefs, it would be the Packers that could make a few moves that could really put this team over the edge and make them even more impressive than they were last year at 13-3.
Guys, let's talk about team needs and possible free agents for the Packers to target. So when it comes to team needs, according to Ryan Wilson, there are quite a few there, as you can see. Danny, let me start with you. What team needs does the Packers have, or is there anybody in free agency you may target?
Yeah, I mean, they clearly have a few. On the defensive side of the ball, linebacker's been a position that's really plagued the Packers for the last several years. And I look at a player like KJ Wright from Seattle, who's a veteran presence who they could go after, that you're guaranteed to get solid production at the linebacker position. At corner, Josh Norman had a really solid year for the Bills. Even though that defense wasn't spectacular, he quietly had a pretty good year. And if you want to break the bank and really make a splash, go after Allen Robinson in the division. You take him away from the Bears, pay him the big money. And then another former player who was the 6th overall pick in Leonard Wright, you could bring him in. He's still just 20. I think he's not even 26. He's around 26 yet. Maybe you get some more solid years out of him. The offense, yeah, the wide receiver, adding a piece there. What are you going to do at running back? Those are luxury pieces that really would make this offense even that much better. But as the Packers front office is kind of taking this approach, yeah, we'll put decent pieces around Aaron Rodgers, and he'll still won't have any drop off in his MVP level of play. So to me, it feels like if you went after the defensive side of the ball, you could really make a run and make this team that much better, which is hard to think of considering how well they were how good a team they were this past season.
Well, when you look at the notable free agents, I mean, it's safe to say the top 3 guys on the list will command top dollar. Corey Lindsey had a heck of a year. I think he's probably the priciest center that will be available. And Aaron Jones, he's going to have a hot market as well, along with Robert Tonyan. So financially speaking, they're not in the worst spot, but they're not in the best spot as well. So they got to really strategically make moves that make sense financially. I think Jarrell Casey definitely could be a bargain type deal for them. Only played a few ball games for the Denver Broncos last year. But if you go back and look at some of his prime years there in Tennessee from 2014 to 2018, he was a hell raiser. If you can pair him up with Kenny Clark, man, look out. There's a good chance they may lose Preston Smith. Being able to add someone that can rush the passer like Carl Lawson would be wonderful for their defense. I think he has the potential to have a double-digit sack type season, especially there in Green Bay. And then adding a nice piece, a nice savvy, experienced piece to the offense and T.Y. Hilton. I mean, T.Y. Hilton, Devontae Adams, you choose. I think Aaron Rodgers would definitely love that if they're able to sign T.Y. Hilton. He might not be as pricey as some of the harder names at the wide receiver position. And I think that could make a lot of sense financially for the Green Bay Packers.
Guys, early expectations and quickly for the Packers in 2021. They are the 3rd favorite to win the Super Bowl behind the Chiefs and Bucks. Danny, what do you think?
I think they're the best team in the NFC. They had the best record this past year at 13-3. I think they'll be right around the same, if not better, which is crazy to think. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing at the elite level. You haven't seen any drop off whatsoever. I think that'll continue. So I think they win the NFC. And the only question is, can they put enough pieces around so they could take down the Chiefs? But we saw the Bucks do that this year. So who's to say? I think the sky's the limit for this Packers team.
I'm not quite ready to say they're the best team in the NFC. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs, but clearly they're the 2nd best team. And with that being said, winning the division, getting into the playoffs and making a nice run in the playoffs. I think that should be the expectations for the Green Bay Packers.
Bryant McFadden, Danny Kanell, love talking about this with you. Thanks so much for hopping on with us here. All right, so we covered 4 teams today. Tomorrow we have the Bucks, the Bills, and the Patriots team previews. Make sure to tune in tomorrow.